What is going on, my beautiful people, man? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today, man. Let's have some fun in this video, man. What we are going to be talking about in this video is how surrender works and how surrendering to God and allowing ourselves to be able to not be ruled by our emotions, not be ruled by our thoughts actually works, and how we can do this continually in our life so that we can have a little bit of a better understanding of how this actually works versus just thinking that it happens one time, or that there's a lot of complexities to this. So what we're going to talk about here is the difference between surrendering in a moment and surrendering afterwards to God more and more. All right, so this is something I'm still figuring out for myself, but I really want to talk about this because I know how important this is, and I'm literally on the verge of a breakthrough here, and I can really just feel it. And I want to talk about it with you guys, man, because this is something that we can literally just absolutely change our life if we could dive into this. Because for me, it's basically the surrender is something that I understand that we are able to do and that we can do with God. But it's something in the moments where you're thinking about stuff and it's kind of all just happening, and then it's okay, how do I surrender this in the moment? How does it actually happen? And I had to dive back into my old videos to find one of my old videos that actually reminded me of a great time that I did this. And it was actually a time where I was talking to my girlfriend, and it was at a time where I was still growing spiritually, and it was hard for me to maintain my energy while somebody else is throwing a lot of negative energy at me, and I'm sure you guys have felt that too. And she was talking about something, and it was a lot of this negative energy that was coming, not towards me, but towards just a situation that she was dealing with. And I had to be able to, in the moment, feel, accept, surrender, and continue. Which for me in that moment, all it was is allowing myself, I'd literally imagined myself giving the thoughts, giving the feelings up to God and continuing in the moment. Because sometimes you would feel why is she coming at this, and why is she so aggressive about this? She's literally almost yelling. And you feel a certain type of way about that, oh, I wish that she wouldn't be putting this energy onto me. But it's you can surrender that in terms of saying, no, I accept what is. Be still and know that I'm God. I'm allowing myself to be still. I'm bringing myself back into the moment, giving it up, and then just trying to continue. Something else came up, giving it up and continuing. And that would happen a lot of the times in that freaking conversation. And I remember just freaking throwing them all up to God and allowing myself to be in the moment. And it allowed me to be in the moment so much better than I ever had before. And I felt it because I was still able to be present after she finished and she was there, and I was just able to be with her and actually able to give her the best response that I possibly could, at least that I felt. And it was powerful because for me, the complexity that I'm having with this is having to surrender in the moment versus surrendering afterwards. Because sometimes I feel okay, sometimes we're gonna feel if we have a feeling in the moment, we don't want that feeling and we want to get rid of it. And that forces us to not actually surrender it in the moment, and we're forcing ourselves to be why do I feel this anxiety? Why do I feel this stress? And we're literally trying to get rid of it in that moment. And that's not always the best. That's literally usually not the best, because then all of a sudden, whatever you resist persists, and the more that you deny it, the more it's going to be harder to actually walk and do your best with that thing. And I've noticed this myself, man. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, I want to get rid of this. I don't like this. I don't like this. The anxiety, the stress, the nerves, whatever it might be. But I've realized these are two different things. So you could, in the moment, what I said here, the feel, accept, surrender, continue, is something that you could do in the moment, where you just allow yourself to surrender to the moment by knowing you're giving it up to God, knowing that you don't have control here. God has ultimate control. You're giving it up and continuing with whatever you have, whatever nerves, whatever feelings, whatever thoughts, you're continuing to go about, even if they don't disappear. You're trying your best to be in the moment. Be still and know that I'm God. I even did this. I had to go to the post office today. And it's just bringing myself back to the absence, almost the absence of thought, where you be still and know that I'm God. And then you allow yourself to just breathe. You got a lot of stuff going on. You got things here, you got things there. You're trying to figure this out. Your brain's fried, but you're still bringing yourself to the moment and allowing yourself to just be able to just be still. Just trying your best to be still. Now, the thing is, I've always heard from this guy named Julian Blanc. He talks about that isn't always going to that alone is not going to work. Reason being is you're going to have a deep reservoir of insecurity, a deep reservoir of things that you're worrying about. And in the moment, yes, you can give it up. But sometimes you have to tap back into those things later on and find out why you are feeling those things. Now, Kobe Bean Bryant also talked about this, and it's amazing because he said that for himself, he always tries to be still, allowing himself to just be still as best he can in the moment when he's going on playing games and stuff like that. And he said you have to accept the emotions, you have to accept the feelings, you have to accept them all, you have to embrace them all. Whether that's nerves, anxiety, anything like that. He said that a lot of the times when you are resisting those things, they actually just grow. So he said accepting is the first thing, being able to just be still and know that he is God, and being able to be in the moment with whatever is there. But then he said afterwards, he didn't really say exactly when you do this, but you think about it, it's probably like after, it most likely is afterwards when you're like having a little bit of time. He said, and then you also think about these things, think about the anxiety, the stress, the pressure that you have. And when you really just think and boil it down, he's like, if you think about it, I'm stressed, I'm anxious because I don't want to miss this free throw to win the game. If you think about that, why am I so stressed about that? Because I don't want the whole crowd, I don't want to miss a shot in front of 1,000 people. Everybody freaking is upset and, saying stuff about it. I don't want people to say stuff online. Well, and then you start thinking about it, you're like, well, like, would that really be so bad? Like, is that like really what's gonna stop me? And then you start thinking about it, I don't want to let my teammates down. Well, have you let them down in the past? Yes, you've let them down in the past. Were they okay? Yes, life went on. And once you start getting into that place, you start to remove that actual internal reservoir that is causing you there. Now, Julian Blanc also gave another great thing about this. He said that with this stuff, there's like a lot of the times 3 things that we are focusing on for what we think gives us security. So for one, it's the approval. A lot of the times we want that approval. We want, I forgot the second one. I'll go back into that one, but it's approval, something, and then security. So a lot of times we want approval from people, we want validation, we want that stuff. And that's where a lot of these feelings are coming from. And if you feel that, it's usually coming from that place of you're wanting validation, you're wanting things to go right, you're wanting to not be embarrassed, you're wanting to not cringe at yourself, and that is going to cause that anxiety. And if you can go back and find like, hey, I felt this today, and then maybe you do a meditation or visualize yourself in that same situation, being removed of that and replacing it with God, that is powerful. Reason being is it's going to start to take it away and realize you start to get more familiar with those feelings of like, okay, it's all it is something that is coming from a place of I want. Yeah, that's it. I want when we don't need to, because the Lord is our shepherd, we shall not want. And that is powerful, man. And if we do that with that, and then security too, sometimes we want security in terms of we want to have money, we want to have success so that we don't have to worry about it. We want to have a partner in our relationship that is doing everything perfectly so we don't have to worry about that. But if we're getting our security from there, it's always going to be flimsy, flopsy, and that's going to cause a lot of stress and anxiety. But the more that we can put our security into God, now I know this is not easy. I know it's going to be like, okay, how do I do that for sure? But that's just something that we have to continue to abide in, continue to grow in. Abiding means a relationship with the God. Abide in me and I in you. And that is something that we continually grow. But also trusting that we can be still even if that isn't perfect yet. We can still be still and know that he is God and continue to get closer with Christ in these things. And I think that is so amazing because it's just something where you're going to continue to grow in that. Slowly but surely you're going to grow in that, and we're going to grow in that and be able to know that we can be still in the moment as we continue to trust him. Even if we had to go with that anxiety or stress for the rest of our life, we can still trust him and know that we can do what we can with those emotions and know that God is still with us. So this is something I'm diving into, man. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. I would love to hear. I love you guys very much. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of y'all's week. Peace.